You build a fast food empire. One word: persistence.
My name is Virgil.
And I'm Kevin.
And this is our review of The Founder, starring Michael Keaton.
Now you want to get nuts? Come on! Let's get nuts.
John Carroll Lynch, the creepy guy from the Zodiac, as Mac McDonald, and Nick Offerman.
Like you've never seen him before.
No facial hair.
Smooth. The Founder is a story of Ray Kroc and how through hard work,
Persistence.
and a little backstabbing, he made McDonald's what we know and love today.
How this review is going to work, we're first going to go over what we liked, what we didn't like, and then we'll give you a brief summary of our overall thoughts, and then our rating.
So, Virgil, what did you like about The Founder?
I liked Michael Keaton. He was by far the best part of the movie. He did a tremendous job as Ray Kroc. Every little Weasley thing he did, you believed him. You know, he didn't come off as false at all. Backstabbing and manipulative. But part of you kind of liked him.
Yeah, he made you like him while he did it.
I mean, part of you actually really did like him. I mean, but that's how he worked. He worked on with his personality. And like he said, they had some sound bites in the movie during the closing credits, and some of them were of Ray Kroc. And Ray Kroc said that he was only ever able to do two things in life. That was play piano and talk. And you get that through this movie, through Michael Keaton's performance.
He can talk.
And the man could talk. The man could spin some bullshit.
Can talk.
Bill O'Reilly would hate it at the guy because he certainly didn't live in a no-spin zone. One other thing I especially loved about it were Nick Offerman and John Carroll Lynch as the McDonald's brothers, because those guys did a really good job.
Great performance.
Great performance by those guys. John Carroll Lynch is the kind of the nicer brother.
He's the biggest. He's like a big bear.
He was the dreamer. He was the dreamer.
The nice guy.
And Dick, played by Nick Offerman, a beardless Nick Offerman, a facial hairless Nick Offerman.
I gotta say, it took me a minute to realize who it was.
Yeah, because he didn't have the weird pedo stash,
or man beard.
The man beard he usually has. It was a weird look. He was the more practical. He was pragmatic. I even think
he was strict.
I think John Carroll Lynch, his brother Mac, even called him practical or pragmatic at one point.
Yep.
In the movie, and when he was talking to Ray Kroc, he said he's the pragmatist or the practical one or whatever, and he's the one who figured it all out.
Well, he was definitely a rules guy.
Yeah. One of my favorite sequences in the movie actually involves just those two guys. Is the part where they're telling Ray Kroc their story, and Mac he's all excited telling Ray Kroc not their life story, but how they got started in the business, movie theater, Hollywood, all that long sequence. And then how they came up with the speedy system, as they called it, how the kitchen worked. That by far was one of my favorite sequences in the movie. And this goes on what I was saying about Michael Keaton and his performance. There's one specific scene in the movie. It's no spoilers really, but he's arguing with Mac, because Mac gets on the phone with him, and John Carroll Lynch, Mac's going off on Kroc about some of the Weasley little deals he's been doing and some of the backstabbing. And Kroc, Michael Keaton, tells him straight up, this business, it's about competition. It's not about being a nice guy. You don't make it big in the business world being a nice guy. And he tells him, if I was to come upon my competition drowning, I would go up and shove a hose in his mouth. That was perfect. I loved that line. And there were little scenes like that throughout the movie that just characterize Ray Kroc. And what I loved is all the sound bites they showed at the end. They took things that he literally said to people, recordings of them.
If it was news conferences or just
it didn't show news conferences. They were just playing audio over the credits, and they just put stuff in his he said and put it in dialogue in the movie, and I love that part of it. So that's what I liked about it. My main big overall likes. There were little things here and there, but those are the big things. So now, what did you like about it?
I gotta say, my favorite part of The Founder was Ray Kroc. There's just no getting around it. Michael Keaton did an amazing performance. There's one line in particular I really like. He says, and he's trying to give his spiel to get more people to do something for him. And he's like, I'm going to offer you something today more precious than gold. Opportunity. And that's what he was about. His ambition, his drive to succeed no matter what. The backstabbing Virgil talks about. All the dark dealings that he did.
Win at all costs.
Win at all costs. He just did it in a way that man, that was a really crappy thing to do, but I still like you. It sums up his character pretty well.
No, I mean, he was a popular guy from what I understand. A lot of people liked him.
Oh, yeah.
But, he was a businessman first, and unfortunately, in the business world, he's right. Like you said, the soundbite at the end of the movie while the credits were playing, it's not a dog-eat-dog world, it's a rat-eat-rat.
Yep.
I mean, it's the best backstabber wins.
He definitely had a good understanding of how that works. And now to go on a little bit about what he said about the McDonald's brothers, the performance that they gave them, it was fantastic. They did great as the brothers. It made you like them. I loved the performance. It made me dislike the brothers simply due to the fact that they had a huge, compared to Ray Kroc, a huge lack of ambition. And I couldn't get past it.
I agree to a certain extent. I would think Dick was the bigger problem than Mac. Because Mac, I think, in the beginning was really open. He was clearly open to it. I mean, he convinced Dick to go along with it.
Well, and that's not to say that that's one of my dislikes. Disliking their characters. No, I liked that I disliked their characters. It was very dynamic.
Mac, if Mac was by himself, I think Mac would have listened to Kroc all the way. Because Mac needed someone to lead him.
Mac was the follower.
Mac was a follower. I mean, he was the one who bought into Ray Kroc's line of BS.
Yeah.
Wholeheartedly. He jumped right into it feet first.
He convinced Dick.
Not even head first.
Yeah.
He jumped right in there head first. I mean, he was the one easily convinced, and maybe even Kroc knew that because he always ever talked to Mac in the beginning when they were talking.
I think it was a tactic he used.
Yeah. Well, that's like he said at one point in the movie. Whenever he saw those golden arches, he knew he had to have it. So that was even one bit of dialogue from an actual soundbite. Even the thing about the golden arches being American and Kroc, that's some Polak name, is what he said.
Yeah.
It
couldn't be Kroc.
What else did you like?
Well, there's a point when Ray Kroc met with the fancy restaurant people, without giving spoilers. And there was a blonde lady in there that he ends up falling for slowly. And the movie makes it really obvious how and why Ray Kroc falls for this blonde lady.
Yeah. 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 It's so blatantly obvious. God, it's almost cringy. But in
a good way.
But yeah, I think it's meant to be a little cringy on this particular character's part. All right, next we're going to do what we disliked about it. We talked about this after the movie.
Yeah.
And some of the side characters were a little thin. Like they didn't focus on certain things.
Depth.
Yeah.
Development.
You sort of learned what you needed to know. Like the very thin amount you needed to know.
Glimpses, bare bones.
Yeah, and that's it.
Stuff.
And there was one thing that bugged me, and I don't know if this is how it really happened, but when he meets that one guy in the bank after he's having some of those financial problems, and he just happens to overhear him, and I'm wondering if that's really how that happened, because that bugged me. I'm like, I don't know if that's how that actually happened or not.
Think of the time. It may have been.
It may have.
It may have been.
It was just weird. I mean, it may have been. I mean, that's how Ray Kroc apparently got some of his deals. He overheard this or overheard that.
It speaks to his ability to speak.
Mm-hmm. Because
Even when it
we're
was
not
bad.
going into why he was in the bank at the time. Obviously, spoilers, but...
I mean, it just makes sense that Ray Kroc would be in a bank at some point.
Yeah, a few times.
A time or two.
And that guy happens to overhear him, and this guy, we won't say how, but he changes everything for Ray Kroc.
Everything. You could say this guy made
This
Ray
guy
Kroc.
made McDonald's.
He made Ray Kroc.
Yeah, he made Ray Kroc, and he made McDonald's.
Yeah.
I mean, Ray Kroc was franchising the shit out of the McDonald's name, but he was having issues, and we won't go into what those are, but he was having certain issues, and then here comes this one guy, and I don't know if these are spoilers or not, but...
He just fixed his issues.
Yeah, he fixes his issues, and you'll find out how if you go watch this movie, which you should.
What else did we not like about it?
That was my big issue, was the side, and that weird way.
The lack of character depth.
Yeah.
And development.
On the side characters, there was some lack of character development depth, and that was
the McDonald's brothers and Ray Kroc. Oh, they were.
Yeah. It had the same problem Split had. It focused on certain characters the most, and you understood them. And then with the side characters were just there enough. If they were outside, if they influenced Ray Kroc in some ways, they were there, but even then that was thin.
They gave you the bare bones what
Yeah.
you needed in it.
Overall, I really enjoyed the movie. It's worth going to watch.
Yeah,
it's worth it.
Overall, is a very good film. Very interesting. Even if you're not a fan of McDonald's, or you're one of those, McDonald's.
Well, even if you're not a fan of biopics.
Watch this movie.
I mean, even if you're not a fan of biopics, I mean, this is a good movie. Because it's not a... That's the thing I'm trying to figure out. It's not a straight-up biopic.
It's not the story of Ray Kroc.
It's
not
the
the
story
story of the McDonald's
No.
brothers. This is the coming-of-age story about McDonald's we didn't know we needed.
That's right. It's not a biopic, say something like Walk the Line or Ray.
You really walk away with the feeling McDonald's is synonymous with America.
All right, now we have to give it a rating, and we're going to have to explain our rating system first.
Number 1.
Matt Damon.
Number 2.
Bad flick.
Number 3.
Willem Dafoe.
Number 4.
Rob Schneider.
And the very worst of the worst.
Lazy Eye Paris Hilton.
Well, now that you know our rating system and the order that they go in, you should know if we give a movie a Matt Damon, that means it's great. It's the best of the best. We loved it, and we think you will too.
He's our 5 for 5.
If we give it a Ben Affleck, he's great. His movies are great for the most part, and if we give it a Ben Affleck, it's going to be great. We thought it was great. We think you'll think it'll be great.
He's our 4 out of 5.
Willem Dafoe. Movies aren't always good, not always bad. They are always interesting. We enjoyed it, at least a little bit, if we give it a Willem Dafoe.
He's our 3 out of 5.
Then we have Rob Schneider. On par with Adam Sandler. Some really bad movies, but they have their funny moments.
He's our 2 out of 5.
Then we come to the worst of the worst, Paris Hilton. If we give it a Paris Hilton, we think it was garbage. We hated it, and we think you'll hate it too.
1 out of 5.
If there could be a 0,
Wow.
she'd be on it. Now that we've explained our rating system, we'll let you know what we think it is. We'll give it a solid Ben Affleck. We loved this movie, and we think you will too. If not, you're un-American. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching.
And if you enjoyed the video,
Like, subscribe.
ding that bell for notification whenever we drop a new video.
We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye. So what else did you like?
Nothing else.
I call him Donald Trump.